All right, Bobby, you're our intro guy.
Today is a special day, and today is a podcast where we talk about that special day. Hi, I'm Bobby Parker.
And I'm Joey Nickel.
And I'm Joey.
Welcome to Today Is.
All right.
This is unusual. This
Yeah.
is very, very new for us.
What are you talking about?
Podcast, just in general.
We are not in studio today, which we're never in studio. We don't have a studio. Just so
No.
you know, we don't have a podcast studio. And to let you know how unimportant our podcast is, I invited Bobby over to my house to record the podcast, which we usually try to keep it 50-50. We usually try to do his house half the time, my house half the time.
Right.
Not always one after another. Turns out my wife had a meeting today and did not want to be disturbed and did not want to hear the sound of 3 large male voices in the background of her meeting.
I can't imagine why.
Or my voice.
Yeah. So I said we'll do it outside, but it really did look like it looks like it's going to rain, which I just realized our power cord is outside still, and I probably need to move that so it doesn't get wet if it does rain.
The connection points aren't where
Yeah.
It is. It
Oh,
is.
okay.
The connection points are definitely where water is.
Oh,
So,
I mean,
so I do need to change that. But that is why we are in a car today. Today, and I don't know if you've noticed this, but there are 2 Amatangelo people. 3. Well, okay. There are 2 Amatangelo men and an Amatangelo boy.
We're what?
In the car today. It is today is Brothers Day, and that is today, Saturday,
Hello, my name is Packer
24th, yes.
May 24th. Today is Saturday, May 24th. It is Brothers Day, but Friday, May 23rd is National Road Trip Day.
Road Trip Day.
So I'm going to try to release it like right at midnight so that it kind of covers both days. So we're kind of celebrating Road Trip Day, but I will say this, for the first 15 years of my life, all my road trips are with my brother, so
Yeah.
I guess that goes right along with National Brothers Day. I'm going to move the power connection real quick.
All right. Yeah. I will let you know that I am thrilled about both of these. Both of these were were suggestions of me, like just to kind of let you know. We kind of put a list together, like, hey, these are the days, and like we say, hey, is this gonna be what we do? These are 2 of the ones of the short list I suggested. One, because I am an only child, but I was in a fraternity, so I love talking about my fraternity brothers.
Show them your shirt.
Yep, I got my old fraternity shirt on that I actually fit in now.
We're not going anywhere but Bobby.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I just want to point out we are not driving.
Yes.
We are just sitting here in the car, but Bobby decided safety first.
Yes.
And he wanted to keep
I
that
was
seatbelt
not
on.
aware we weren't driving anywhere, and I was using this to hold my microphone for a little bit. And but we also did a lot of road trips in
Yeah.
college with. So I mean, it feels like I'm dressed perfectly for this.
Yeah, that's great. I, of course, wore the traditional Slytherin hat for. I don't know. I was trying to think
They
of something.
just have so much brotherly
They have,
love.
yeah, they have a lot of brotherly love.
Except both my daughters are Slytherin.
Well, they get it done on a road trip. They're willing to do what it takes to get the road trip completed.
Yes.
So I will. So okay. So let's back up a little bit. Let's do the general stuff.
Okay.
Let's get our some housekeeping out of the way. I am wearing this hat because I went to Universal on Friday.
Ooh, very nice.
Now we talked about me going to Disney, right? We already talked about that.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Okay. We talked about Guardians of the Galaxy and
Yeah.
stuff.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
this past Friday I went to Universal for it was me. I almost said it was my wife's anniversary. It was me and my wife's anniversary together. We've been married for 17 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you. On March 16th, that's our anniversary. It is also the day that the 8th graders went to Universal. And my wife is an 8th grade teacher and was a chaperone. Packers want to applaud that. And was also a chaperone. So she wrote me into being a chaperone. That was our anniversary trip. Nothing says 17 years of marriage like spending it with 3,000 eighth graders at Universal.
Sounds
So,
about right.
um,
We didn't do that for our 17th, but it was close.
now I have an update. I have a story that I tell in my set a lot about me getting kicked off of a ride
Right.
at Universal. I talk about trying to ride the Hogwarts ride.
And bless you for trying.
Yeah. So I have an update. They have. So in the story, I get kicked off in the middle of the line. So it's like an hour-long wait. I get kicked off at 30 minutes in. I'm very upset that they made me invest 30 minutes and that they put the tester. They have a tester seat for fat people to sit in to make sure you fit before you get on the ride.
Right.
And I did not fit in this tester seat. I will let you know they have moved the tester seat.
So it's now closer to the entrance.
It is now right before you get on the ride. No, I'm just kidding.
That's what I was waiting for.
It is now after the ride. No, it is at the beginning of the line now. So they do have it outside the line.
right.
And I tested it, and it is. I do not know how I even so I remember getting a click, right? And but I needed 2 clicks. I don't know how I got 1 click before.
Oh my.
It is so. I don't know how any person fits in this roller coaster. They have you in like this booth that is not even as wide as my shoulders. So it's not even that I was fat. I couldn't even get the bar to go down enough to even find out if it would click. I do not know how people ride this ride.
Right, and I have a serious concern with that because I remember having trouble just with my shoulders and chest, and this is not my problem area. I've got problem areas all over. It's not right here.
It's like I know I have big shoulders, but it's like But that was crazy. That was great. So anyway, I knew I wasn't going to be able to ride that ride because I had lost some weight, so I thought maybe I had a chance. Did not have a chance with that. I mean, I could lose. I don't know. I could lose 100 pounds and still not have a chance on that ride. Like you've lost 100 pounds, right?
I've lost.
You've lost more than 100 pounds by this point.
I've lost about 100.
I bet you still could not fit in that ride. It's pretty crazy.
I've got the midsection of a melting candle, but I think that I might have a chance.
I don't know. It's pretty rough. So,
do they allow you to bring implements? Like a shovel or a 2x4?
For leverage?
Yeah, like to just kind of.
It's crazy. Well, I asked the person
or maybe just
checking me. I asked the person checking me. I said, can you just push on it? And she's like, no, we don't want to do that. But other rides, like Rip Ride Rocket, they're like, yeah, just have them push on it for you. And like, they don't care. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
they don't care.
They grab you by the face and push you down. Like,
but I don't know why, but the Hogwarts ride, they don't want to. I think they know it'll injure people because it's such a weird setup for that ride. Now, I will say, so last time I was at Universal, so, I had got kicked off that ride. Then years later, I went back to Universal. I had not really lost any weight at that point. This was a year ago. So I did the same field trip last year.
Right.
And I did not. They had the tester seat for the Hagrid ride.
Okay.
Now, the Hagrid ride, you're in a bicycle. You're on a motorcycle.
Right.
Oh, right.
It's like a motorcycle and a sidecar.
Yeah.
And we heard it was. My wife said it was a great ride. So last year I sat in the tester seat, and they have this thing. You bring the bar down, and then you get a green light if you've brought it down far enough to be safe. And I could not get a green light on the tester seat last year. And so I didn't ride the ride. I didn't take the risk of waiting in line or anything like that. And then this year, I have lost weight. I've probably lost maybe 30 pounds since last year at this time.
Right.
Now, keep in mind, I just gotten off 2 cruises last year at this time. So I thought I'd try it out, and I got a green light. And I was good, so I rode the ride, and I will tell you, it is on par with Guardians of the Galaxy.
Really?
It is really good. I would recommend that ride if you go to Universal. I'd recommend that. It is at least it is fat friendly up to a point, up to at least me size.
Right. Hey, you said Guardians of the Galaxy was the best roller coaster.
Guardians of the Galaxy is the best roller coaster I've ever been on.
And if this is even close to that, I mean that's a
really
great
good
endorsement. That's
it's
awesome.
a very different. It's outside and it goes outside and inside, and there's animatronics and stuff like that. Whereas Guardians of the Galaxy is all like. It's inside and it's all like projection screens and things. It's very technological. This one's more practical effects and stuff. Packer's favorite ride is Guardians of the Galaxy.
No, it isn't. I hate that ride.
You hate it?
I hate this ride and
Yeah.
I was crying.
Yeah, the entire ride he was screaming, "I hate this! I hate this! I hate this!" And he did not like that ride.
I hated it.
To be fair, I would have probably cried too.
So that is
Do
my
not let your 7-year-olds go on that ride.
well, yes. Packer did not like it. So yeah, so I would say it is. I would say Guardians of the Galaxy #1, Hagrid #2, #3 maybe Space Mountain.
Okay.
Those are my top 3. Those are Joey Nichols' top 3 roller coasters in Orlando.
Yeah. Patented.
First time I ever got to go on Space Mountain, I was like, oh, it really is that cool. Like,
It's so cool.
Because it's almost unassuming, but it is really cool.
Can you turn yours up a little bit, John?
Yeah.
There's lore about the first time I went on Space Mountain. My family took me there when I was like 3.5, 4 years old.
Oh, wow.
And my dad very much wanted to ride Space Mountain, so we rode it.
Hey,
And
3.5 and 4?
yeah, like this.
That doesn't seem.
it was like 79 or 80, man.
Man.
They're like, hey, he's got to sit in the back seat. I'm like, I want to sit in the front seat, and they're like, no, and that was the rule. The kid couldn't sit in the front.
Well, I will say Packer sat in the front when we did Space Mountain.
Yeah.
But he's 7, and he hated that one just as much as Guardians, right?
I sat in the front the second time I did it, and I loved it.
Yeah.
I really did not like the 2 worst rides that I hated were Space Mountain and Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
They were the worst.
Yeah, they were pretty bad.
Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy were like, it was, I mean, Space Mountain was like less intense than Guardians, so like, my least favorite ride is Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay. Well, we
Gotcha.
won't take you on there
That
anymore.
sounds like a fair rating system.
So, updates on shows. Okay, yesterday I was on... Nope. Today's Saturday, so... Tuesday,
Yeah.
I was on television. I was on First Coast Living promoting Comedy Super Friends and the shows that we've got coming up.
Excellent.
We now have 6 shows in the Jacksonville area, 3 open mics and 3 booked shows. We've got the next book show we have coming up is May 30th at Shantytown with Bobby, and the one after that is June 6th at Really Good Beer Stop in Nocatee, also with Bobby.
Yep.
And then we have added June 14th at Lily's.
Oh, that'll be
So we have not finished booking that one. We haven't decided what we're going to do about who's going to be on that show yet. We're trying to decide because we have an open mic there at Lily's. We have 3 open mics. We have Lily's, Shantytown, and then we also have Freshbot every first Friday of the month, only first Fridays of the month.
right.
So we have 3 open mics under the Comedy Super Friends name. I don't know who we're gonna book for. I don't know what we're gonna do for the 14th yet at Lily's because we're trying to decide if we should book somebody who's not local because they're gonna see a bunch of local comics every week at the open mic.
I think that would
Can't
be the
decide.
best.
It depends. Not that like we're burning through audience members all of a sudden. Like there's plenty of people who haven't been to the show that I think will be fine. I don't know. We'll see. We'll probably decide here in the next couple of days who's on that lineup. But just to give you an update, that is our shows that we have coming up. And I went on First Coast Living to try to promote the shows. All of the ticket links and show links are at comedysuperfriends.com. And hopefully that'll sell some tickets. We did sell 1 ticket yesterday. So,
Nice.
I don't know if that was because of the show, but
I highly suspect that we will sell some more.
I hope so. But anyway, so check out comedysuperfriends.com to see our shows. Bobby and I are together on 2 of those shows. Also,
Yes.
Bobby has been coming to the open mic, the brand new open mic at Lily's.
Yes.
Now, Lily's, I'm going to say the next thing we're going to talk about is your story at Lily's.
Yeah.
I was going to start telling that story, but I realized it's your story
yeah.
because you were on stage at the time.
Yeah. I was working on a very specific thing, and I went in with a mindset, hey, I want to get, doing 5 minutes. I want to work on this joke. I'm like, I've got it, but I don't know how I'm going to word it yet. And
Which, by the way, that's what professional comics, that's usually what we do at open mics.
Right.
We spend half our time trying to write new jokes and half our time trying to reword jokes that are already written that we're trying to figure out the timing of. That's
Yep.
pretty much what we do at open mics.
Yeah. So I went there and I usually have more written out as far as exactly what I want to do, but I'm like I know the joke I'm going into it with very well, so I'm like I just want to riff. I'm gonna get it, and right before my set, I'm noticing that there's somebody who's talking a lot. They're talking a bunch in a small room. I'm like and they're not as loud. And finally, during it
is a small room, so it does make it
very small,
awkward
small room,
even if somebody's in the back of the room having like talking or just saying one thing. Like it's very hard not to notice.
Yeah. And so during my set, I got up and I started, and this person started having a very loud conversation.
It was very loud
with another person. Their back was to me. It was just impossible for anyone to pay attention. So I just finally said, "Hey, do you mind not having a conversation in the middle of the audience, in the middle of an open mic?"
Yeah.
Since we're here, and then the persons they heckled back, and I was very angry and worked on not saying something I didn't want to say, because I don't want to attack a heckler, and I know that the person wasn't trying to disrupt. They absolutely disrupted the show, but
the problem is that first of all, they were completely plastered, like they were completely drunk, inebriated,
right.
And then the other funny thing was there was another audience member there that sounded like they were just as drunk.
Yep.
And started berating the one that was interrupting everybody.
Oh, no.
So then it was just this argument between these two women, just about how and I think it was the second one, the second audience member who was like, "We're trying to listen to him. You're not funny." Like, isn't that what she was saying
Yes.
to the audience? She was like, "You're not funny. He's funny. We're trying to listen to him. We don't want to hear you because you're not funny." And they both had very slurred speech.
Right. So I just I just had a bad mindset anyways. I'm like, I'm done. I'm not gonna riff. I'm just gonna walk away.
Yeah.
And so I walked over, turned my camera off, set my notepad down, and the person immediately bumped into something and spilled beer all over my notepad.
That happened. Yeah.
So I picked up my stuff
no.
and just walked outside and just did a couple laps up and down. came back in, said goodbye to one or two people, and I'm like, I'm gonna go home.
Yeah. I knew when that happened. I was like, Bobby's not sticking around. Bobby's gonna
You need
leave.
to have somebody go to the open mic nights in like a referee's uniform to hand out yellow cards and
Yeah, I
red
know.
cards and be like, "I'm sorry, you have offended the comedians."
So that's funny you said that. On Halloween a couple years ago, Marcus did that. Marcus Crespo.
Nice.
Marcus Crespo, who's been on the show, showed up as a referee and brought yellow flags to
Wait.
throw at
When
the
are we
audience
gonna get
members
to
and
the
stuff.
brother part?
We will in a minute.
Oh, brother, come on.
So I will say she also spilled beer all over the list.
Oh yeah. That was right when it hit
Yeah.
my pad.
So
yeah.
I quickly took a picture of the list so that it was good because I knew we were gonna lose it.
Right.
So I took a picture of it so we'd know who was next. On
There
the
are
list.
so many metaphors in this story. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I had to take a picture before the list faded from our memories.
Now, to be fair, maybe they had both woken up from surgery and they got dropped off at this bar, and that's why they were acting like they were. But I'm guessing it was not. It was not administered.
No.
Whatever was causing them to act the way they were was not administered by a doctor.
Could have been a mixologist.
Now,
Yeah.
Now, one thing, like, people think that because I have a big background, like doing improv and improv acting and stuff like that, that I do a lot of riffing on stage. I don't. I don't do a lot of riffing on stage.
Right? Yeah. See, I'm not. I present that a lot sometimes, especially at an open mic. But most of even my riffing is pre-planned riffing. It's like just me having responded to some having been in a situation, and then I write a response later. I should have said that.
Right.
So my riffing is all I should have said stuff from years ago.
Right. And
Like-
yeah, and the thing like with that, like, I'm more comfortable riffing in a show when I've got freedom to interact.
Right.
When I'm doing like a
When you're supposed to be
5-minute set,
interacting.
Right.
Yeah.
and I'm like, hey, I'm very specifically want to work on something, and that's what threw me off.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and
I've got to be better.
There's
for
a
that,
difference
so.
between riffing and reacting too,
Yeah.
and riffing because you're reacting to something is definitely tricky.
You know what's funny? The term riffing doesn't even mean how we use it in
No.
comedy.
It-
A riff is a repeated phrase over and over again
Yeah.
in music.
That makes sense.
So you see like a blues riff. That's like a predetermined phrase that you
we should
repeat
be
over
saying
and
like
over
I
again.
improvise for a few bars.
It's really
you know, like,
improvising,
yeah.
but we say riff for some reason when we're talking about speaking, like public speaking or something like that. We always say riff.
I think it's because there's that old adage that comedians always want to be musicians.
Yeah,
we
that's probably-
we want to be rock stars. That's what.
Yeah,
what
but
we
then
want.
look at all these rock stars that think they're funny.
Yeah,
right?
it goes the other
Oh my
way
gosh.
too.
I can't tell you how many. Okay, first of all, have you heard about what's going on?
He needs to go to the
Oh,
bathroom.
okay.
He's gonna go out my door.
No, go into the house to go to the bathroom. Don't go to the bathroom out his door.
I was just gonna roll down the window. How's your aim?
So I've heard. Kiss. Gene Simmons
Okay.
is now touring solo, and I've heard it is about 50% music and 50% attempts at stand-up comedy.
Really?
And everybody says that if you enjoy watching awkward train wrecks, then go to this show and it will be awesome. But if you want to go watch Gene Simmons play rock and roll, don't go to this concert.
Yeah.
If you want a spectacle, you know.
He tells jokes in between the songs, and it's just and they're dumb jokes, they're bad jokes. Most of them are dirty, like just.
It's
things
not
he
even
thinks are
stories?
Funny. Some of them, they're not even like. Yeah, it's not even like stories of like. I'd understand if it was like this is going to be half music and half spoken word, like stories of me
Behind the music.
Yeah,
Yeah,
behind
yeah.
the music.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I'd probably watch that.
Sure.
Yeah.
But it's literally him telling long form jokes in between. And I don't know if he's doing it because he's old and he needs the recovery time for his fingers or something. Or I don't know.
I think it's just he wants to sound important and amazing.
He just likes the sound of his voice and
Yeah.
and can't handle that he's a master at one thing and needs to be funny. I don't know. It's like can't you just be happy that that you're a rock and roll legend?
and I think the thing he's the master of is marketing.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
that's true. He's definitely a master at marketing. He's a rock and roll legend, but he's a marketing genius.
Yes.
And has made so much money off of that, which is why that surprises me even more that he would try to branch out and turn the show into something that he's not. Because it's like I feel like he should have the marketing brain to know, like, give the people what they want. Like, give the people, I don't know.
I think I know what's going on. See, back in the 90s, they did a Kiss comic where they printed the cover
Yeah, and
with
they-
a little bit
they
of their
put the
blood,
blood
in it,
right?
yeah.
This time, he's going to do one with all the tears he's crying after the show behind stage
Yeah.
when it goes badly. It's got to be.
Tears of Kiss?
Yeah.
Does that sound like an awesome album?
It sounds like a return album.
Yeah,
you know, like,
Yeah. It sounds like you would get Seal to do a cover song.
Yeah.
yeah,
right,
yeah.
Yeah. I just listen, I'm just gonna put it out there. If there are any rock stars that want to do comedy in their act, that want to have jokes, like tell jokes in between their songs, reach out. I will write you jokes. I will spend if you pay me enough, I will spend the next year of my life. Every joke I write will be for you. I will write a year of jokes for you if you pay me to write you jokes, just so that there's not somebody out there. And this, I'm doing this in the name of comedy. I'm doing this. I'm doing this for the benefit of comedy.
It's a public service.
You know that Jerry Seinfeld when his friend who's played by Bryan Cranston, the dentist who becomes Jewish, and he goes, I think and he tells the
Wally.
priest, yeah, he's like, I think he became Jewish for the jokes.
Yeah.
And he's like, and that offends you as a Jewish man? He goes, that offends me as a comedian. This offends me as a comedian. Like
Yes.
like whenever I see bad comedy or somebody leaving what they're good at to try to do bad comedy, I'm not talking about open mics. Doctors come to open mics all the time.
Yeah, hey.
That's fine. Come to an open mic all you want. You know, even try to progress and try.
Sure.
Make a go of it if you want to, but don't
Don't-
like if you're
don't
already
force it
successful.
on
yeah,
somebody.
don't
Don't
force it on
force it.
somebody else just because you have a platform. It's like don't. And you're already good and fulfilling at something. It's like don't try to do the thing that. Don't try to do the only thing I'm good and fulfilling at. don't try to-
Although I will say, I would love to make a list of people that I would absolutely go see try to be a stand-up comic, not expecting to see them try to be a stand-up comic.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Ooh,
like
ooh.
that could be really interesting.
I like this.
Like I'm sure Shaq has done it, so you can imagine he's a funny guy.
Yeah,
Anyways.
but Shaq is actually funny.
Right.
Shaq,
So you
that
think
TV,
of
that show, like when he's on, is it the TNT show? That him
right.
And,
It's like NBA Live or something like
is
that.
it just
Oh
NBA
yeah,
Live?
on
Is that
NBA
it?
Live.
Is
Yes,
that all I'm thinking of?
Yeah, he's very funny on that, and him and Charles are quite the tandem.
Him and Charles Barkley are pretty
Yeah.
funny together.
But think about other professional athletes who would be terrible at it. You know, now Peyton Manning can't do it because he'd just be funny anyways, because he's funny at being terrible at things. That's what
Yeah.
he does on Saturday Night Live, and you know.
I think Peyton and Eli's show is decent.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah,
they are. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing.
Yes,
they know
yeah.
how to be funny
Yes,
in the
yeah,
awkward
yeah,
way.
yeah.
You know.
The celebrity that I saw coming into this general area, William Shatner, is coming in concert, and
what do
somebody
you think that? What is that? Well, he does have.
He
he's
has
got several albums.
Good spoken
Right.
word,
But they're
albums.
spoken
Yeah.
word albums.
right, but like it's coming. It's like
You know what?
William
You're right.
Shatner
I've seen that.
in concert.
Yeah, I've seen this post.
Yeah, I'm like, where, like, is it going to be singing? Is it going to be?
I think it's going to be spoken word songs.
I think
It's
maybe
going to be
just
covers.
stories.
I think it's going to be covers of his spoken word. Like all his spoken word albums were covers. Like he did. By the way, there is an album out there of William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy together.
Yes.
And it is, I would recommend anybody to listen to that album. It is, first of all, Leonard Nimoy, good singer.
Okay.
Very good singer. He's got 2 songs that are very good. He does that Put a Little Love in Your Heart. He does that song. That's a cover.
Okay.
And then he has a song about Lord of the Rings and Bilbo Baggins.
Really?
There's a song
And it
called
is
Bilbo Baggins.
Charming. I
And
think
it
it
is
is the definition of the word.
and he
charming.
did a music video for it and everything. This was in the 70s. He did a whole music video for it and everything.
Wow.
Very good. It's a great song. I don't know who wrote it. I don't know if he wrote it or if somebody else wrote it, but
The music video has very awkward family photo vibes.
yes, yeah, very much. And I think the whole music video, there's no actual hobbits in it or anything.
No.
It's just him and like a bunch of girls, but it's not meant to be like, I don't know. Yeah, it is kind of like family photo-esque vibe kind of thing. But anyway, it's a good song, and he's a good singer. William Shatner does all spoken word. So he just does a song. He'll do a cover of a song, but he'll do the spoken word version of it. What was the one?
Bass. How low can you go?
Yeah.
Death row, what a brother knows.
I would say that it is just as enjoyable as listening to good music
Okay.
because it is hilarious. And I don't think he intended it to be hilarious.
That's the thing. Like
He does Mr. Tambourine Man. That's what it is. William Shatner. He goes, "Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man!" Like that's how he starts. Like it's so ridiculous.
Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man.
But he like every time he says, "Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man," he says it differently. Like it's not just like, "Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man." He goes, "Hey, Mr. Tambourine, hey, Mr. Tambourine Man," and it's like he's doing acting exercises.
Yeah,
every time.
that's essentially what it is.
I would recommend listening to it just for that. It's just because it is funny. It's hilarious, and then Leonard Nimoy songs are actually good. Like they're actually decent songs, and he's a good singer.
Shatner had an album in about 20 years ago now, 2004, that was just called Has Been, and he does Common People is his probably the big one off of that made the rounds for a while in the early days of YouTube. It kind of got pushed a little bit because it's good, but it's also awkward.
Yeah.
He's got a few good ones on there.
And I think William Shatner has a good sense of humor about it because do you remember when he was on Futurama?
Yeah.
And they had him, and then he was like doing his spoken word songs, but he like did a rap song, and they're like, "How do you do a spoken word rap song? Like, isn't it already a spoken word?"
Right.
And then, but like he was doing it in his William Shatner way of speaking and stuff, and so yeah, I think he's willing to joke about it a little bit. I think he's got a good sense of humor about it. So I don't know if that's what the concert's going to be.
Who knows?
Or it could be telling stories. I did actually really enjoy his book. He had a book years ago. It was he wrote just about making the movies,
Okay.
the Star Trek movies. It picks up when Star Trek the series gets canceled, and then it ends with the end of the film, the production wrap of Undiscovered Country.
Okay.
Oh no,
Or
Generations. It
Yeah.
ends with the wrap of Generations. So he goes through all of the movie. He goes through everything he did leading up to getting brought into the movie world, like all the plays he was doing, and he went on the road for a long time with a touring act,
Right.
with a touring Broadway show, and then he talks all about filming all the movies and the behind the scenes and stuff. It's a very good book. I liked it a lot.
Could be that we find out he's taken up to playing the dulcimer and he's actually doing a performance concert.
Yeah, he could be doing some sort of musical instrument that we had no idea that he was doing.
Maybe the mouth harp.
Yeah.
I would pay to see that.
Now I think he and Leonard Nimoy should have come up with a Hanukkah album,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
right? Because
Surely
they're
they
both
did
Jewish.
something at some
They had
point.
to, they had to have done something. I don't know how religious William Shatner was.
Dreidel, dreidel, dreidel.
I made it out of clay.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have. That feels like a missed opportunity for them to not do a.
yeah. I absolutely
think Leonard
agree.
Nimoy was practicing. I don't know if William Shatner is practicing though, but if they were both Jewish, they should have done something about together. They should have done something. I almost said they should have done something about that.
They should have fixed it somehow.
Anyway, the rest of the show, today's episode is about Jews. It is called
We want to
it
get
is
canceled.
National
Yeah.
Jew Day.
We're heading to Gaza. Whoa.
That
all right.
went dark
Whoa.
fast.
Yeah. All right. Today, I've heard is prime real estate.
Yeah.
Today's episode is about brothers, and I have a brother. And now you said you were in a fraternity.
I was in a fraternity.
What was the name of the fraternity?
It was Beta Sigma, and it was only at the school that I went to. So, Grove City College, it's the only place where you could have been in this fraternity.
So at Grove City, they're like, none of the other fraternities like us. We're going to make our own fraternity and not let any of you guys in this fraternity.
Yep. No one else. You have to go to Grove City to be part of this. Actually, all the Greek system there, you have to go to the school to be in. It's like no national fraternity. So that's interesting. Yeah,
What?
that was cool.
So what was that? So what kind of did you live in a house in a brotherhood house?
So we weren't allowed to have off-campus housing. A very small, strict
Are we-
Christian school. So we had a dorm floor that was dedicated to us.
I see.
So we had our floor, and if we had more people that could live up there, we had like some first picks on some other spots, but we basically had that floor, and it was kind of our fraternity house. We were a little bit of the wild guys.
As wild as you could be at a tiny Christian college.
Yeah, like it was very much like Animal House. Now, like if you think about how wild that movie is, those guys drank a lot of beer, and that was about it. And that was crazy, and they were wild, and the rest of the world is very, very much more crazy than that. But yeah, that's like 1950s level party, and that's what I did in like
Why
the
are
90s.
you?
What, Packer?
Why are you talking about beer?
That's a
I thought
great
it was
question.
National Brothers.
We're talking about brothers.
Yeah.
Then why
Brothers
are you
and
talking
beer.
About beer?
We did not have fraternities at Brigham Young University.
Yes.
They did not have
Okay.
fraternities there.
Well,
So
okay.
but I was on the rugby team freshman year,
Okay.
and there was a rugby house, like a house that a bunch of rugby players bought, or not bought, but some like rented out. I never lived in it because I only did the one season with them, but so it was kind of the sports teams were kind of fraternities.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially the club sports, like, because there's no scholarships for rugby,
Right.
but because there's too many football players.
Yes.
They take up all the scholarships for the school. They take up the entire scholarship budget, are the football players. So there was no scholarships for rugby. It was just club, but you did play other schools.
Farley actually did a very similar thing in college, and Like he was in on the rugby team. Like,
Yeah, that's right.
Rugby
Yeah.
house and his best friend, one of his best friends, who he ended up naming one of his most famous characters for, Matt Foley, was on the rugby team with him.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
good story. I forgot
Yeah,
about that.
Yeah.
Catholic priest now, Matt Foley.
That's right. Yes,
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
Father Foley. That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we've talked about that
Yeah.
before. Yeah, yeah, that's right.
Does he? I mean, does he preach in a van down by the river?
Yeah, is well, I don't know if that's a good look for a priest. So John and I have been brothers for over 40 years.
For your whole life.
Yeah, for my whole life.
And
No.
we've been roommates for only like 9 months less than that until we
Yeah.
were adults. But
Yeah. Well, we shared a room. Well, how old was I when Mom and Dad moved us into your room? Moved me
you
into your
were
room.
you were not even one yet.
I was
Because your crib was put together in my room next to the bunk beds that we would one day occupy.
yeah.
Oh.
So I was on the first bunk until you were big enough to be in a big boy bed, and then I moved to the top bunk. So
So so that if it ever fell, it
Yeah.
would just crush the youngest kid.
yeah,
And
Yeah,
then
that's
and then make another one.
last one in, first one out.
Yeah.
Um,
He used to wake me up by reaching out of the bars of the crib and smacking my face.
And you were 5.
Yeah.
Because you're 5 years older than me. So 5 and 3 months old is when we started sharing a room, and then we shared a room until right before you left home.
Yeah.
For your mission.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Pretty close, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it was like right at the end there. You know, we moved into a smaller house because.
So you were
Mom and Dad
18 or
planned to move
19.
in, Yeah.
Yeah. So for 12 years. Wait. What am I thinking? No, 13 or 14 years.
For math years, yeah.
For
13 years ish.
13 years ish.
Yeah.
13 years. So we were roommates for 13-ish years.
okay.
And
There was a lot of shared experiences. Like, if one of us got into comics, we both got into comics. If we, basketball cards, baseball cards, that kind of thing.
mhm.
But it was also like, but these are my comics and those are your comics. And for the first few years, it was definitely the ones you can still read were my comics. The ones that might not have covers were
Yeah, right. Those were my comics. Yeah.
because he was 5 years younger
Yeah.
than me. You know.
You know, it is interesting the dynamic that we had because we were 5 years apart. And your sons, John also has 2 sons, so he has brothers in the family, are twins.
Yeah,
so
it's
they're
very different.
exactly the same age. And my sons are about 3.5 years apart each. So it's like,
Right.
So it is kind of funny to see. So neither one of us have the 5 year apart in our kids, of the brothers that are 5 year apart. So it's good. They've always been a little bit closer in age. My kids and your kids are exactly the same age.
Yeah.
Right. So that age gap that's right at the edge of, if it was a little bit bigger, I don't think you guys would be as tight.
Yeah, it's very possible because you go a little bit longer than that, and then it's
It's two different
it's too
worlds,
much.
yeah.
Yeah, it's too much.
I mean,
maybe.
already it would be, I'd get home from a date at 17, and he's 12, and
Right.
there's a gap there. But at the same time, like when I got back from serving a mission for our church, he's 15, and and I'm 20, so it's like exactly the right time to like hang out again.
Right.
Yeah.
So we got even closer when he was junior and senior. We were basically inseparable for those few years.
Yeah, that I think the problem ages would be like between 5 and 10.
Probably,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, but that's when we invented Fat Man and Blobbin', so we were
yeah.
okay.
We did that.
we used to play. See, that's the thing. We figured out early on that we didn't have to actually fight. We could like slow motion movie fight, and we would make up all these stories. We'd play G.I. Joe or Batman or whatever it was, but
Right.
we'd do it in slow motion because that's how they did it in the movies, and we figured that's probably how they didn't get hurt because it was in slow motion, right?
Absolutely.
So we came up with our alter egos of Fat Man and Blobbin', where I would stuff pillows in my clothes to be Fat Man.
Right.
Don't need to do that anymore. And
But it's
Joey
still fun.
would get a blanket and just get on the ground and crawl around with the blanket on top of him like a blob.
Yeah.
And he was blobbing.
Yeah.
So we did a lot more stuff like that, like teaming up, than we did fighting physically. I mean, sure, we argued and called each other names and things like that, but we didn't really physically fight. We found other ways to get at each other, like jump scares and things like that.
Yeah. Right.
What about you, Packer? Do you get in fights with your brothers?
Yes, a lot of fights.
What?
So many fights. Me and Daniel are the most fighters. Like, normally we fight a lot.
A lot, like wrestling fight?
Yes, wrestling.
Really?
Yes.
Off the top
we
rope?
wrestle, fight. Sometimes we fake it when we get hurt so that we can, like, fake it and, like, yeah.
That's crazy.
Should we get Daniel in here to respond to that?
I'm the faker. So
I'm right now surprised that Daniel's not standing there just staring at us.
Sometimes there's some sneak attacks.
Oh, sneak attacks?
Yes, sneak attacks.
How do you do sneak attacks?
So, like, sometimes our sneak attacks are like when Daniel's sitting on the couch and the couch is reclined, I normally, like, pull the couch down so it's like a bed, and that's one of my sneak attacks.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Maybe.
That's like jujitsu, using his motion against him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, I got this Batman.
And you've got that Batman?
Yeah.
Is that kind of like Fat Man and Slobbin?
No.
Or Blobbin? That's Blobbin, yeah.
It's more like blobbing.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well,
So
Daniel's pooping.
I mean, that's a very important announcement to make.
He poops for a long time. Like about half an hour.
So I've got a son, basically that age, 12, right?
Yeah. He'll be 12 in August.
Mine's gonna be 13 here in a couple. So about a year difference, but same age. He poops forever. Like he'll.
I don't know what it is.
Hey,
I don't know what it is about that generation.
You know what, though? I think there might be some kind of... Okay, not to get too specific, but my family, meaning me and my spouse and my, our 4 kids, can easily be divided into the fast poopers and the slow poopers. Like people who can just be done and people who need a while.
right.
I don't think this is the kind of podcast where we needed to get into the biology of all that, but I think there is something to that to an extent. But then there's also the leisurely poopers who just are looking for a reason to read quietly or,
Yeah, I
scroll.
I think this is more of a scroll thing.
I don't know about Daniel because we just can't get him to go fast no matter where we are. And then Lewis, he's in and out. He's quick.
He's the speed crapper.
Yeah.
Speed crapper. I love that.
He's the speed crapper.
I will let you know that I once spent an hour standing next to a stall at a Disney park.
Oh, no.
Waiting for a kid to poop. It was my kid. Very.
Yeah. Just wrestle that in.
Got to put that in there.
Like,
I tried to do it once a year.
Yeah, but yeah, and it was like, hey, the fireworks are starting. I'm like, well, I'll be waiting here. So my wife and daughter
got to enjoy the fireworks
and ride another ride, and I got to stand there. Parenthood.
Yep.
I love it.
Or I need somebody with me. I can't poop by
Packer,
myself.
careful! Don't do that. I don't want you to fall on the mixer.
I won't.
There, I got my arm under him. Oh, that wasn't an invitation to use me as a jungle gym or a jungle John.
You are wrong. That is absolutely the invitation.
That's all right.
To
I
use
know
there.
how to get him.
I'm a monkey.
Now, I did just find out. Let me double check. Actually, I don't have a text message from Leah saying just kidding. All right. So I did just find out this weekend I am going to be opening for Yamaneika Saunders.
Oh, very nice.
Nice.
At the
she's
Comedy
the
Zone.
one you met in
Yes,
New York.
I saw her in New York. She at the Comedy Cellar. Very funny. I think I've talked about her on the podcast. I recommend that people go look her up. She will be here in Jacksonville this weekend. So tonight, if you're listening to this on Saturday, tonight we have 2 more shows. So come get a ticket for one of those shows because she is hilarious. She is really funny. And my guess is she seems like the kind of person that you could probably watch 2 shows of hers and they'd be a little bit different.
Nice.
Because she's a storyteller, but it sounds like she has a lot of stories. So I'm guessing she reminds me of Ali Sadiq in that regards. Like Ali Sadiq tells stories, but he has so many of them that he can kind of be different every time. So I'm guessing she might be a little bit different every time.
Oh man.
I just got that vibe from her, and she's super funny. So come to the show. We will be there. So just 2 more shows tonight. But yeah, I'll be there all weekend.
I am looking forward to it.
That should be a fun weekend to work with her. I'm excited to do that. I did not get to work with Patrick Warburton last week, so I'm glad to.
Man, that's tough.
Yeah. We already talked about him on the podcast. But yeah, he came and did the comedies on this.
Yeah,
week.
one of your big fans got tickets and went to the show though. Anyways.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you heard about that?
Yeah. We talked about it last week.
Yeah. We talked about that on the podcast.
Yes.
Now he's been looking for. John Stallings has been looking for a show to bring some of his kids to, but none of he can't bring them to Shantytown or Really Good Beer Stop.
No.
So we got to figure out a family friendly venue to do a show at pretty soon.
Yes.
So we can get some families.
I know a good car.
Families. Yeah. We can only fit 3 more people in this car, so.
Yeah, the cover would have to be pretty high.
What are currently in here. This car seats 1, 2, 3, 4.
Of us.
If Bobby and I are the only comics on the show, we can add 5 people.
Sure. Depending on the size.
Depending on the size, yeah.
There's 6 seats in this car, plus the 2 back seats.
That's not correct.
That's there's a number of seats.
There's 7 seats total.
Huh?
Yeah.
We might be able to put somebody on the center console here.
Yeah.
On the armrest.
Like a Packer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's 7.
Well, I don't know if Daniel's going to make it out here.
That was the part that sold Packer.
What did he say?
The center console. He's like, oh yeah, there's 7 seats. Like, yep, makes sense.
Now, when I was younger, I feel like most of my interests were whatever your interests were.
Yeah.
But as we got older, now I do say, now being 5 years apart, obviously, when I'm a little kid, I'm trying to do everything you're doing. So, I don't, probably at some point I would have been introduced to comics, but you're the one who introduced me to comics and stuff like that. But
we also always did divide and conquer,
all right, Packer, sit back, buddy.
We wanted to get subscriptions at the time, which was the thing to Marvel Comics. So, you subscribe to Wolverine, I subscribe to X-Men. You get Action Comics, I get Superman, and I get Detective, you get Batman. So we were able to, and then read each other. So we got twice the amount of comics.
That's nice.
It is interesting to see what things my sons get interested in based on their brother's interests, and then what they separate from. So, like, you liked playing basketball, but you never really played sports.
No, I made a decision in high school to go the arts because I couldn't do both, and I had up to that point.
You okay?
But I caught him.
Did you hit your head?
No.
So I played basketball up till
Packer,
then.
I need you to sit down right now.
Take
down.
that with you.
They can't see me.
Well, you don't need to be seen right now. Children should be not seen nor heard.
No.
So when I got to my freshman year, I made the team.
Packer, it's time for you to sit down.
And but I had to choose because I could either be in the musical that fall or spring rather, or play on the team. So I made the decision because I was like, well, I don't have a shot at the NBA or even like a scholarship. Like what? Why? Like I'm definitely, if I'm going to get a scholarship, it's going to be in music or writing or art. So that's what I chose.
That's funny, but I ended up playing sports all through high school.
Yeah.
And I ended up playing football, but not basketball.
Yeah,
I played
I know.
football and baseball. all through high school.
So what's weird is you were presented that choice your freshman year. I was presented that choice my freshman year by my band director. He's like, you can be in band or football, but not both. I'm like, I'm gonna play football. Like
Yeah.
that. I'm like, I would love to be in concert band, but I'm not. I'm gonna play football. And he's like, oh, we don't need you. And my high school had a huge marching band, so they didn't need me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, they're happy
That's funny.
pushing kids out.
Our high school had guys on the football team and in band, and they would go out and march with them at halftime.
Well,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you'd go up into the box, sing the national
Yeah, I
anthem.
would sing the
in
national anthem in
uniform
football,
and pads, and
in
then
my
run down and
pads.
play.
Yeah, in my thing was like if it was an issue like, hey, me marching or something like that, I'm like, I'll learn all the stuff and,
Yeah.
and do it, like, but let me play football. Like,
Yeah, we had over 700 in my graduating class, and so our
Yeah.
our school was big. So at high school level, it wasn't a matter of like, did I want to do all? It was like, would I even like at that point? I probably wouldn't have even played if I'd been on a basketball team. I mean, I had the will to play, but I was what 5'4", 5'5" at the time.
right.
I wasn't a great shooter. I had a head for the game, but that was about it at the time. You know, I loved the game, and I was really smart when it came to the strategy and things like that. But yeah, it was definitely the right choice.
Yeah, I played basketball 8th grade, and then I played basketball, and then you were on your mission during
Yeah.
freshman year, and I played freshman basketball, and then sophomore year comes along, and I'm trying out for the varsity team, and I had not grown. I was still, but I had gotten to 5'8"
Yeah.
by 8th grade. So all the coaches thought I was going to be tall. So I was playing like power forward and center and stuff, and they were putting me at tall positions, thinking this kid's going to grow. And I never grew. I was still 5'8" in when I was in 10th grade. I grew 1 more inch my entire life. I only made it to 5'9", and then so I get there to try out for varsity basketball 10th grade year, and all the seniors are all over 6 foot and everything, and I'm like, all right, this isn't
Well, and you guys had good
this
teams.
isn't gonna work. We had decent teams. Yeah, we had some good teams.
Like the guys that when Spencer Pearson's group came in, like the
Yeah,
one
they
year
were
and
pretty
2
good.
years after you graduated, they were making runs at state. So it's not like it was a tiny little school that needed anybody they could get either. So it was rough competition. But you played baseball, and you even played soccer for a while.
I tried. Yeah, I played soccer for a while, but then because they were gonna have the soccer be. I can't remember exactly why I was gonna try to do baseball and soccer, but they decided not to do it that way.
It was something with the schedule.
They were gonna have the soccer practices at the same field as the baseball practices, and just do them after baseball practice, I think,
Yeah.
is what they were going to do. So I was like, I could be on the soccer team too. Then they decided not to do that. They decided to have them at the same time, and I chose baseball.
Yeah,
because
Less running.
I was going to make fun of soccer players. I couldn't think of anything. Because I'm not a communist.
This is America.
This is America. We play baseball. We don't play football.
Because you don't like playing games that don't involve a stick. I don't know.
Yeah.
That doesn't count football.
I find that it's weird how the soccer schedule seems to change, but every other sport is pretty much the same time of year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like in Ohio, soccer season is in the fall. In Florida, soccer season it's a winter sport.
Yeah.
They play it in the winter here.
Yeah.
You're talking about in your high school. It seems like it was in the spring.
It was spring, yeah.
Like
Soccer season was in the spring.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is kind of funny. I think that's kind of how it is. Like different countries do soccer at different times too. I think.
well,
I think
and then
that's
there's
how it is
countries
around.
where it's just year round. Like,
Well, now here in
they just
Florida,
make up more leagues.
Here in Florida, like baseball and softball are year round.
yes.
Like you can, like you do. There's like a league that you do in the spring, then there's a league you do in the summer, then there's a league you do in the fall, and then a different league for the winter. It's like everybody plays baseball year round here in Florida. It seems like.
I think kids are missing out not doing a whole different sports.
I agree. I like the idea of kids doing a different sport every season. I liked having football and then baseball, and then
Well, and it's fun for the families too, because
Yeah.
Dad and I would go to all your away games in football, and then baseball. We had a whole nother set of concession stands to try.
yeah. I will say some of those away games at football, they had some good food at some of those concession stands. Like you go to some schools and there'd be, they'd have a smoker and stuff like that. And good barbecue
it was
and
like
stuff.
going to a really good restaurant.
Yeah.
Some of them.
Ours was just hot dogs and hamburgers and stuff.
But they were good hot dogs.
They were good hot dogs and hamburgers, but
they were working them right on the grill.
Yeah.
They weren't frozen or microwaved or anything. They were fresh, but it wasn't the same as like the guy who'd been cooking the brisket or the baby back ribs for 30 years and now he's showing off at the football game.
Exactly.
can we scoot him in?
Yeah.
Okay.
You'll have to lean over when you talk so they can see you.
Oh no,
Lean over more.
we've got some more brothers.
Did you wash your hands?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Everything come out okay?
All right, now, we were just talking about brothers. It's Brother Day, and we were just talking about Packer. We were interviewing Packer, and he was telling us that you guys wrestle and fight a lot.
Yep.
And he said sometimes you fake being injured, and he's usually the faker, Packer. Is that correct?
Yep.
So you can confirm this story.
Uh-huh.
Can you lean up? Try to sit up a little bit and then lean over.
how's
Yeah.
You can hold the mic while you're talking.
So how are those wrestling matches going?
Good.
And how many times do they end with one of you, mostly Packer, crying?
A lot.
Yeah, 100%, I would say. I'd say 100% of the time they end with Packer crying and me yelling at you.
Yep.
Yeah, that's how they end. So how do you feel about you have two brothers. Now, you have something that nobody else in this car has. An older brother and a younger brother.
Ooh, that is impressive.
Nobody else in this car has that. Nobody else in our family has that, an older brother and a younger brother. How do you feel about having an older brother and a younger brother?
I don't know.
You are unique.
You wanted to be on the podcast.
All right.
So,
I've got a very important question, and I need a detailed answer. What is your wrestling finishing move?
I don't know. I just throw them on the floor.
So it's a slam.
I just throw them on the
You
floor.
gotta name it. Name it, and then you're good. Something slam.
Little brother throw.
The Dan Slam.
Yeah, the Dan slam.
Dan slam. You got to be very careful saying that quickly.
The Dan slam.
The Dan Slam Slam.
No, just the Dan slam.
You know what? You might if you become a wrestler, you will get a
Packer.
endorsement from PF Chang's because they serve good Dan noodles.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah,
Maybe you can
it's
get
fine.
both.
It'll be a Dan slam
And
for
Denny's.
Dan noodles. Yep. Ooh, yeah.
You can get the Dan slam.
The Denny's Dan Slam.
Yeah,
It'll go right along with the
one
moon's
big
over
egg,
my
one
hammy.
little egg.
Yeah. So what? Have you noticed that Packer gets interested in things that you're interested in? Do you think there's anything that Packer's interested in that you're not interested in?
Zelda?
No. What? No, you're interested in Zelda. I mean Packer.
Yes.
Is there
Oh.
anything he does not? Is there anything Packer likes that isn't something that you like?
Or used to like.
Packer, do you like anything that's not something Daniel likes?
Answering.
I don't know. Wait, hold
So
on.
Packer, are you still kind of following Daniel in your likes still in your life?
I think so. Wait, hold on. Daniel, I have a question for you.
Okay. What's your question, Packer?
Do you like to go underwater and try to trap yourself under there?
What?
No. I do.
What, Packer? Who are you? The kid from The Omen? What's happening?
So I'm wondering, can Daniel think of anything that Packer liked first that he got into?
Is there anything you were interested in that you became interested in because Packer was interested in it?
I know my nephews have done that for me. Like Jacob and Benjamin are the ones who introduced me to Minecraft all those years ago, and Lewis is who got me into Pokemon and playing trading card games, like other than Magic, because that came out when I was in high school. But I lost interest after a while, and then I got back into them because of Lewis.
Any ideas, Daniel? Packer just likes to copy you and everything.
Yes.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Mm.
Now Lewis is different. Lewis, I could not get him to stay interested in Star Wars or Batman or any of that. Lewis does not like Marvel movies, but Daniel does.
Okay.
Actually, Daniel likes Marvel movies more than Packer. Packer likes them sometimes, though. But I can't get Packer to watch them as much as Daniel does.
Yeah, they can be a bit intense. I get it.
Normally, like, sometimes Marvel movies are, like, too intense for me. And then, like, I watch part of it and then I just stop. Like, no, that's too intense. I'm going to go play on my iPad.
Like Space Mountain.
Yes.
Now, Packer, I've noticed both of your front teeth are missing. Have you ever had one of your brothers knock out your teeth?
No.
I have. Yeah, famously. That's one of the things, one of the great childhood struggles is you trying to get your loose teeth out, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's nerve-wracking. Mostly it's nerve-wracking. We had done tie a string to your tooth, tie it to the door handle and slam it. We'd done tie a string to your tooth and tie the other end to the A-Team train set that I had, which didn't go fast enough to pull it out.
I did not do anything.
And then one time I had a loose one that was bugging me, and we were goofing around wrestling, and Joseph punched me in the face, and it came right out. I mean, literally, just like in the movies.
Yep.
Like, it hit me, and I was like, ugh, and it came right out. We were so excited because we were like, I can't believe that happened in real life. You know?
All right. Well, I think we've had a pretty good show here in the car. Hopefully the sound turns out well.
I think so.
Don't wrap it
I
up.
think this might end up happening again.
Yeah, we
with
might end up
with us
doing this
driving.
again. Yeah, we might try
Yeah,
to
we
drive.
could.
Maybe.
We'll have to
see.
get a way to mount the mic for you.
Yeah, I can't hold it and drive.
Seatbelt
At the same. Yeah, that's right. You just
Yeah.
stick it in the seatbelt.
right there.
Hey, I bet you we could mount a gooseneck on the roof.
Well, I think that's about going to do it for us. Do you have any shows coming up, Bobby?
The shows I've got coming up are the ones we've talked about.
All right.
So,
So don't forget, go to comedysuperfriends.com. You can check out, I'm going to try to put it up on the screen here,
yes.
comedysuperfriends.com. Go check out all of our shows that we've got coming up. We've got some great shows. Really good beer stop, $20. The ticket's $20, but you get a free drink with it. Shantytown, tickets are $10 for that one. Backyard comedy show. Hopefully it doesn't rain. Come to that one. Should be a good show.
I think it's going to be a great show no matter
Gonna be a
what,
great
and
show.
I'm hoping for no rain.
All right, so come out to our shows. Today has been Brothers Day and maybe a little bit of road
Wrestling
trip day.
Wrestling
And
road trip day.
Amateur wrestling day.
All right, that's the perfect way to end, man.
Well, I'm Joey Nickel.
I'm Bobby Parker.
Johnny Two Tons.
All right,
See you tomorrow.
have a good one.